Hi, my name is Darragh Power and I work in transformational change programs from a learning standpoint in SAP. I have a global job, so I help people all over the world change, primarily in the customer success and sales end of the business. Well, first of all, my job title is around sales and transformation, and secondly, I had some colleagues who went through the program who had a really great experience and spoke highly about how they changed and how the impact of that change changed what they did in their work. And knowing them as professionals, I had a lot of respect for that. So that made me interested in doing the program. For me, the module on coaching was the most interesting, even though I have a lot of experience in coaching and I qualified as a coach. It made me reflect on how I go about it and how I thought of myself during the process of it. And basically, I was thinking of myself too much during the process of it and how I was doing as opposed to looking out for the people I was coaching. So that was a really helpful. So it was reflection, the process of reflection, as applied to what I do. In that case, it was coaching, but that process of reflection has been valuable and remains valuable. My favorite part of the program was really to work with other people from all over the world and to compare notes and to see just how differently people view things, from a cultural standpoint, from a role standpoint, and also from a research standpoint. And it was really interesting to see people delve into their own values and their own experiences of life and try and bring more of that out in how they lead. So we had people who drew on their parents' experience as builders, or you had people who drew on their experiences of the culture that they grew up in and bring that to bear on the research that they were doing. And I found that really interesting to get to the depth behind people, and that was very helpful. The main kind of concern is time, and then there's what am I actually committing to. So you don't really know what the modules will entail, and it's a recurring commitment. So there's the kind of, will I have time, and then there's the continually finding time for 2.5 years. So it was really the time commitment and the renewing of that as you go along, because things change and you have to put in a lot of effort to change as well. So it wasn't just before the program that the commitment was a question, it was during it. But if you are researching your practice, then it really helps with the commitment because you can see the application straight away. The number one thing was reflection, was to be very disciplined about what am I really learning here from literature, from others, from running experiments, from practicing stuff and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and reviewing. So I would say early on it was reflection, almost just to kind of get into the habit of it, but that was both a quick win and a long-term benefit. And I'd say that's just an ongoing way of working for me now. It was great to graduate, but in a way it still continues because what I decided to explore for my thesis has become an ongoing set of studies and set of interviews that I'm doing with people. So it's the graduation is nice as a marker in time, but it also changed the way I work. So I keep having interesting conversations with interesting people on topics that I'm interested in, and then bringing that to life in experiments and work. So I try stuff out, I see what works, I research that, I see what doesn't work, I learn from that, and then keep going. So I would say it's nice to graduate, but it doesn't have to be the end of the journey. What I'd say is it's made me more sure of some aspects of how I work and the things I've got a certain level of confidence and depth of confidence because of the research that I've done, which has helped to run programs. So like I've done pretty well in work. In terms of the results for the organization, like we've won several awards for some of the big transformation programs that I would be the chief kind of architect and designer of or deliverer of. with well-known kind of training organizations like ATD or Brandon Hall. And the reason that those awards get set up is because of the business impact. So we've had, money, we've generated revenue, we've had people promoted, we've had a lot of change that's been created as a result of the work, and that's an ongoing thing. So it's not just a one-off, here's the results for a period of time. Is that the change in the way we work has led to a change in how we innovate, and the change in how we innovate has changed how we measure performance, and the change in how we measure performance has allowed us to win gold medals in ATD, Brandon Hall, these types of programs. So I would describe it as an exploration, and you'll get out of it what you put into it, which I know is a cliche, but on the plus side, you'll be exposed to things that you'd never be exposed to before, and you'll be exposed to conversations that you wouldn't be exposed to before, and there's a certain level of discipline and intellectual rigor that goes along with that, meaning you can have an opinion, but you have to have an evidence base that supports it. So whether that's from your own practice or from literature or from a combination of both, then that's a set of skills that you develop. And with that discipline comes self-reflection, reflection on performance, reflection on the organization, and so on. And then, ultimately you'll end up researching something that you're really passionate about that will help you change how you go about things, which will have a change in your life, as well as your work. But it is a big commitment. It's just it'll keep paying off for years to come, because, as I said earlier, the stuff that I was doing back when I did the program, I'm still doing to a large extent. I'm still looking in the same direction, researching in the same kind of way. It's just not in an academic program, and that approach has really served me well. And you'll enjoy it. It's also fun.